Hello, my name is Albert Avila. I'm the medical director of the Center for Urgent Care in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. And today we're going to be talking about healthy heart. A lot of issues to talk about. There's a lot of things that we cannot do about our hearts, and there's a lot of things we can do. And by that I mean we all have the genes that we were given. Our genetic makeup is our genetic makeup. Our family history is our family history. There are things we simply cannot change. However, there's a whole host of things that we all can address and change to maximize the chances of having a healthy heart and minimize the likelihood of having a heart attack. There are a number of risk factors that we're very all familiar with. Smoking being a huge one, hypertension, diabetes, leading a more healthy, active lifestyle, exercise, diet. You know, as a concept, I think we all need to take personal responsibility for our actions. If we want to live a long, healthy life, if we want to have a healthy heart, we have to be responsible. And there's certainly a whole list of things that we can do to be responsible and do our part. One of them is the area of nutrition. Staying away from junk food that is full of unhealthy fats and salt can go a long ways. Eating healthy has been shown time and time again to be a very important factor in minimizing our risks of developing high blood pressure, diabetes, hypercholesterolemia, and ultimately all of that leading to a heart attack. So in addition to avoiding smoking, engaging in an active lifestyle where exercise is a component of it, eating healthy also becomes a very important part, and that's something that we all can and should be doing. So personal responsibility is part of it. We cannot just turn over the responsibility of our heart into somebody else's hand. We have to be active participants in our own well-being.
I'm Deputy Christopher Rickey. I work for the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. I'm currently assigned the training division within the training unit. I'm a law enforcement training coordinator, and yeah, I would kind of know that one. I always thought that I was doing the right thing by working out, having a workout regimen, trying to eat right. I mean, I wasn't exactly strict to a diet, but I didn't always eat bad food all the time, that I thought I was doing the right thing.
Certainly maintaining a healthy, fit lifestyle is huge in terms of maximizing our hearts and minimizing the risk of having a heart attack. It's not the only answer. Somebody with a perfectly healthy lifestyle can still go on and unfortunately have sudden death. We know that that happens. We hear about it in the news from time to time where even professional athletes or high school athletes unfortunately suffer sudden cardiac death from an electrical system, and there's nothing we could have done to prevent that or anticipate that. Having said that, certainly exercise has a huge role in improving our heart health, and it is a very strong recommendation by the American Heart Association that people do exercise on a routine basis as a way to maximize their heart function.
It was like any other day. It was on a weekend. I was outside doing some yard work. Matter of fact, I was washing a vehicle. Family was inside. I came in, had some lunch, was just relaxing for a little bit. We had plans to go out for dinner that night, and best way to describe it is I received a gas bubble in the center of my chest here. Didn't feel like heartburn, but kind of like you had a gas bubble where I actually stood up, stretched a little bit, and I burped, and it felt better. Probably about another 45 minutes later, it came back, and this time a little bit more aggressively. As I said, it didn't feel like heartburn, because I've had that heartburn feeling before, but it just felt pressure, like a gas bubble. Thus again, I stood up, stretched, burped again, and the pain relieved itself. And that was pretty much it, those 2 episodes right there.
The classic symptoms that people sometimes see on television of a heart attack is the person who is clutching their chest, they get all sweaty, they can't breathe, very, very dramatic presentation. And of course, that definitely occurs. We see that on a daily basis in the nation's emergency departments and doctors' offices. But not all heart attacks are quite so dramatic in presentation. There are some that are quite a bit more subtle, and sometimes people are not even aware that the symptoms they're having is a heart attack.
Later on that evening, I went out with the family with dinner. We got done with dinner. We were walking across the parking lot to a cupcake place. The children wanted something sweet to eat. We walk across to this other dining establishment, and they went inside, started ordering cupcakes, and this is when it came back just a little bit more aggressively, where to the point where it was uncomfortable. I didn't like that feeling. I knocked on the window, told my wife and the kids, hey, let's just go back home. I'm not feeling too well. Wife kind of looked at me in a concerned way and started walking back to the vehicle. And that's when it was strange. My left hand went numb. And as soon as I said my left hand went numb, it went away. And my wife at that time, she goes, that's it, I'm going to call 911 and get the paramedics here.
I think the key there is that when somebody all of a sudden starts having symptoms that they recognize as being different for them, they should pay attention and should consider seeking some medical attention and evaluation to see whether there is something serious or not, and not simply ignore some of these more subtle symptoms.
My wife is my lifesaver. If she did not dial 911 that day, and she knows me, and she must have looked at that look on my face knowing that something's not right here, he's uncomfortable, I probably would have went home, tried to ignore it the best I can, and things could have turned out very differently.
Over my career, I've taken care of a lot of patients who, in hindsight, clearly see that they were having symptoms of a heart attack, yet at the time when they were in the middle of it, were just denying it. Denial is a very powerful force, and there's this sense that surely this cannot be happening to me. This is something that only happens to other people. So it is important, I think, for all of us to realize that heart attacks can occur at any time to anybody. I've seen it happen in people in their 20s and 30s. I've seen it happen in men and women. So we need to get away from this stereotype that heart attacks can only happen to overweight, smoking, older men. Yes, they're at higher risk, especially if they have diabetes and high blood pressure, etc. But it can actually happen also in young women and in young men. It is well recognized that stress, whether it be emotional stress or physical stress, can take a toll on our psychological well-being and our physical well-being, particularly the heart. There's a whole host of chemical reactions that occur in our body when we are under a lot of stress, and those chemicals do take their toll on a person's heart. Stress reduction, very, very important, again, psychologically and physiologically for all of us. And that can be achieved through taking a walk, exercising. Some people choose yoga. Some people will choose other activities like gardening or spending time with their pet. There's reading a book. There's a long list of things that people can do to focus on the fact that they're under stress and minimize that stress, and certainly encourage everybody to devote a portion of their day to their own stress management before stress gets to such a high level that they start having problems because of that. Stress can manifest itself in any number of ways. Some people It can manifest itself through headaches, neck pain, back pain, chest pain, shortness of breath, abdominal ulcers, upset stomach. The list goes on and on. So when people start recognizing that they're having symptoms that are probably due to stress, taking the proper steps to minimize that stress becomes very, very important.
In law enforcement, we work shift work, okay? And not only in shift work, you're working different hours of the day, separate of the normal public. Either be a day shift, you're working 12-hour shifts, evening shift, 12-hour shifts, overnight 12-hour shifts. You work holidays, you work weekends. If you have a family, you're juggling that. If you have children, you're juggling that. And not only just the family and the outside factors, it's within the family that you have within law enforcement that you also try to help out. What makes it stressful is that everybody's looking at you for an answer. And you always want to give the best answer you possibly can and do the best that you can. And that can add a lot of stress. It's like being the referee for a lot of people.
So I think the point is that there isn't just one simple test by itself that can let somebody know whether they're about to have a heart attack or not. There's a lot of pieces of information, and that's why seeking the advice of a physician who has been thoroughly trained and has years of experience considering all these issues becomes very important. It is not as simple a matter as just having an EKG or having a blood test. A lot of things need to be taken into consideration.
If there's one thing that I can really push home to us as in law enforcement, because we always try to play that it can never happen to me role. We need to listen to ourselves. We need to listen to our spouses. We need to listen to our family. Most of all, we need to listen to our bodies. If we do have a risk factor within our family, or if we are feeling that we are not living that healthy lifestyle, or can try to do something different by maybe working out a little bit more, or trying to pack your lunch instead of going for that fast food. We need to listen to ourselves because it can happen to anybody. It happened to me. I always thought I was doing all the right things by going to the doctor every year, getting my blood work done every year, trying to live that healthy lifestyle, trying to eat with that healthy lifestyle, listening to my family. I did not have those family factors, but the stress of this job that we think we're doing the right things, it catches up to us. And we need to listen to our families, our bodies especially in this field, because we only have this one life.
So maybe the take-home message for people is that if they're starting to feel different, if they're starting to feel like they're not quite breathing as well as they used to, they're not having as much pep and energy as they used to, if they're starting to have a little discomfort in their chest or palpitations where their heart is maybe beating a little fast, if they're just feeling off, listen to that, pay attention to that, and have that conversation with your physician who can better help you make sense as to whether that is important and indicative of an impending heart attack or maybe not, and indicative of another medical situation.